And I would say that the Pons family is pretty synonymous with Maryland racing. But he is also a storied author, an Eclipse Award winner, works for the Blood Horse. Most, if you read the Blood Horse at any point in time, will have read some of his excerpts, including those that relate to the theme of the book, which is Adolphe Pons' Man of War and the founding of Maryland's oldest thoroughbred farm. And essentially, Josh takes us on a ride as he unpacks memories and memorabilia from his grandfather's experiences with Man of War, but so much more as well in the book. I actually chose a part that doesn't relate to Man of War, because I know you all will read about Man of War, but each part you can pick up is so poignant and so telling about our sport then and now. This is the section called Vanishing Act. Not many turf libraries stock a copy of the 1927 American Racing Manual, Part 2, American Racetracks and Records. In a time capsule, I study the names of just a few of the racetracks that have fallen to the wrecking ball. Empire City, Havre de Grace, Jamaica, Lexington, Lincoln Fields, Omaha Raceland, Washington Park. My heart breaks at more recent updates: Long Acres, Hollywood Park, Arlington Park, Exarban, Golden Gate Fields, Bowie. Maybe soon to the same doom, Laurel Park. So often the end is swift. Track owners cash out to developers, most tracks so close to population centers. Laurel is a dozen miles to DC, one of the fastest growing urban areas in America. What if Laurel vanishes? Have you seen Pimlico lately? Most of the grandstand is condemned, hidden behind massive black tarps. No racetracks mean no horse farms. Will this book you are reading someday be like grandfather's letters? Annals of another world, a former world? Is it not an abstract question to horse farmers in Maryland? This is the crowded little state, 100 yards from where I sit reading about vanished racetracks. Masons coat concrete blocks of the rising Bellgate Center on the vanished farms where Charlie Shaw reenacted his training barn from vanished Havre de Grace racetrack. The Gras, as it was famously called in the movies The Sting. We may soon be walking clients through fields of foals on our way to unhappy hour at the Bellgate Tavern. I Google satellite images of site plans. Our tiny farm catacornered to tiny parking spaces, tiny turn lanes. From 30,000 feet, this new development appears benign. No noise, no lights, no fumes from fortified chimneys. But down below, in the path of progress, another swath of Hartford County farmland has vanished. Josh?
Wow. Sorry about that, guys. It was a happy evening till then. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm so flattered to be in this company. My dad and Arthur Hancock shared many a coffee in AA meetings together. They were always supportive of each other. I've found letters that Dad had written to Arthur the day Sunday Silence wins the Preakness. They go up to the track kitchen and have an AA meeting with Chris Antley and Pat Day and Pat Valenzuela. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's a great story. The redemption of so many people here. About 2 weeks ago, before the Maryland Million, I gave a little presentation about something about Maryland, and I lost my train of thought. and it was paralyzingly paralyzing. So in under 3 minutes, I just want to take you on a little journey, and I might refer to my notes, although if I don't know it by now, who knows. The book I wrote is about ghosts, and you can feel ghosts here tonight. Any of us that would have liked to have more time with their grandparents should identify with my book. I didn't know my grandfather. He died in 1951. I was born in 1954. And all I knew was anecdotes about him, that he had worked for August Belmont. But we're so busy on a farm, mucking stalls and turning out horses and breeding mares and trying to grow, that I never took the time to study him. And when my kids were grown, it's when I'm here tonight, with my 2-year-old granddaughter, who's probably going to interrupt me. I just found time, and I went to the basement and I found these files that were in perfect order. They were 100 years old and they'd never been disturbed. A lot of farm families, they're not hoarders, they're just clutterers. You never have time. A farm person's car is not a good judgment of who that person is. It's 10 projects in one. And this basement had never been disturbed. Nobody ever had time to go in and say, what are these boxes doing here? So I found them, and every Saturday morning I take 3 of them up to the attic and I dig into them. And I intended to bring what I call a bale of letters. There are brass prongs, 100 years old. They would prong a stack of letters that big, and the entire file included telegrams and jockey club notices and letters and newborn foals and veterinary statements, and all of this would be in one file. I had Mrs. Kitty Harriman's 1929 file, but I left it back at the house, and you don't need to see it. You trust me on it. So I put this together, and Evan Hammonds has been a great friend since we worked together in the Blood Horse 40 years ago, I guess. And I said, Evan, I got this idea for a book. I found all these letters, and I think they have application to the rest of the industry. So I sent him a draft, and he said, okay, keep going. And when I found photographs of Man of War, and I knew it was Man of War. Anybody that really has ever really looked at the picture of Man of War, he has a big star, he's got an interrupted stripe, and he has just a line like this through his nose. There's no mistaking who he is. And as a foal, not me as a foal, him as a foal, I found these negatives that had never been seen before. So I called Evan up. I said, Evan, you won't believe this, but I found pictures of Man of War. And Evan goes, okay, send them to me. And he stopped the presses and he put it on the cover of the Blood Horse. And I'm like, this series just kind of ghosted itself into its own propulsion, and I was simply the messenger from 100 years ago. All I was a conduit for it. So my brother Mike's here tonight, and he didn't know our grandfather either, and my sister Alice is here tonight, and none of us knew him, but we were able to know the grandfather we didn't know by discovering these letters. So win, lose, or draw tonight, I'm like, I've already won. I just am so thrilled that I had the time and that I found a way to communicate. It started out as Letters of Rockland Farm, and Rockland Farm was the name of the farm when he bought it in 1933. He changed the name to Country Life. I changed the name of the series to Letters from Country Life, and I'm just pleased to be here tonight and be in consideration for this award. Thank you very much.